Okay, so a little brief history on the AR-15. This particular gun right here is the first government carbine A2. This one was made in 1988, and it's a little different than the SP1 carbine, and this part's a little bigger, but we're not really going to get into that. Alan Cox commented on one of my videos that I did about the Bushmaster arm pistol, and it was in the Bushmaster arm pistol when I took it all apart. He made a nice comment in a politically correct way, basically saying, I like the way that you describe everything when you're not really sure what it is. You just, call it a thingy. So I wanted to do a video on a gun that I know, the AR-15, because I've got pretty much every version of them that was ever made. And I'm going to take it apart and I'm going to go through all of the technical aspects of the gun. But before I go into this, I wanted to talk about the AR-15 and the fact, and everybody knows, and I'm not going to go into great deep history, but there's a factor that a lot of you probably don't know. The AR-15 was always credited with Eugene Stoner being the person who was the designer of the AR-15. But what's interesting is that in 1955, Mattel, Harold Matson was his name, and Matson is where Mattel came from. Anyways, he approached Walt Disney in 1955 because the toy company, he started it in 1945, was starting to grow, and the Mickey Mouse Club was a really big thing on TV, and he wanted to do the first advertising of toys on this. So he met with Walt Disney around 1955 when this happened in a restaurant, and they were discussing the plans for doing this commercial. So anyways, while he was talking with Walt Disney, he drew a design of another new toy that he was going to make, and it was called the M16 Marauder. And this is in 1955, and he drew it on a napkin, and at the time, it was a really space age looking gun. There wasn't anything like it, and I don't know if Walt Disney nixed it or what, but anyways, they left, and they left the napkin on the table, and Eugene Stoner was a couple of tables down, and he happened to overhear the conversation, and he took the drawing of the napkin. And what's interesting is in 1956, Eugene Stoner made the AR-10, and then eventually he sold the rights to Colt, which became the AR-15. I think the first one was made in like 1959 or whatever, and that's the history. So there you go. There's a history that nobody knows about. How do I know this? I don't know. How else would conspiracy theories and fake news get started? Okay, so let's get started on this. So the first thing that we got here is the firearm itself. Now, the whole entire reason a firearm was designed is because right here, you have these things. These manufacturers keep making huge amounts of these, and in order to get them back to their natural state, they have to be fired through one of these things. That's the only reason why there's firearms. And it's a dangerous process to do this, to bring this back down to its normal form by taking the bullet and getting it out of the case. And you have to put them in this, and then you have to load that into the firearm in order to start the process of removing everything and getting it back to its natural state. Now, the safest way to operate one of these things is just to get rid of this. Just don't even use that, and nobody will ever get hurt. So what I want to do is I want to start off by showing you guys the inside of the firearm. So we'll just break this down right away, open it up. First thing we do is we open up the firearm, and what we have is we have this assembly right here, and this is the electron flux control group. And yes, I did use the word flux because actually it's a derivative of the imaginary flux capacitor, that was made in the 1986 movie Back to the Future. And so, you know, that movie may be real because we used flux on this. So the way this thing operates is this thing will come back, and it actually is capable of changing time and moving things to a dimension, because if you're on the receiving end of it, you will definitely have an issue with time and dimension. So moving on, we have this next aspect in here, and we'll pull this thing out of here, and this right here is the thixotropic inverter gyroscopic device. And what this is made for is providing stabilization of the firearm while it's being shot, and seismic activity that's over 6.3 on the Richter scale, which is affectionately known as the thingy. Moving on, now we've got this part right here. We're going to pull this out. This piece right here is called a T-bar, but not because of its shape. I mean, you know, you'd think that right away, but it's because it's made out of it's a trivascular impingement device, and it's used to start the mechanical process, kind of like a Kickstarter on a shovel head. so that's what that is right there. And then we've got this item right here. So the first thing that we want to do right here is take apart this item, which is the Transverse hydraulic fluid oscillator, and it's for horizontal spatial orientation. All right, and pressure is supplied to it via this aforementioned electron flux control group right here, and the way that it works is there's like a vectored neutron purge valve found in here, and it's commonly found on most, you know, water purification systems. And the magic of this device is inside of it. And so the first thing that I've got to do is take it apart. So we're going to pull out this, which is really just an ordinary, if I can get it out, everyday cotter pin, which is almost identical to a circlip, although it's different in multiple ways, and the main fact being that it's straight. So once you take out that item right there, you're going to have to remove the solar igniter, and the solar igniter is found inside of here. And this is an interesting device because this thing is made out of cadmium, strontium, lithium, and lead. And because of all of these alloys right here that don't mix together for anything, they put a thin coating of aluminum over the top of it to help the structural stability of it. This item is also used in a lot of other third world countries as a knitting device if you have two of them. So there you go right there. So that's the solar igniter. Okay, the next thing, now you can remove the lockup cam mechanism in here, and this thing will come right out like so. Or not. So there's the cam lockup mechanism right there, and now you can pull out the Warble Belt modulator, which emits a subsonic infrared wavelength in the ultrasonic range, and this is how circumfericity is basically maintained. You couldn't do it without this thing. And then lastly, we have the geometric pulse generator, which is this part right here. And its job is to create a geometric pulse that patterns the exhaust manifold refobulator, which is right here, and helps stability, surprisingly enough, of this one component we want to get rid of right here so that we can have this as the remaining item. Now you understand how all of this works. But, you know, the thing is that I don't understand is why do we even make these things so that we have to make that? Anyways, let's go to the range. Let's fire this gun and see how all of these technical aspects work on this. I really want you guys to see how the thixotropic inverted gyroscopic device works, because one of the things I'm going to do is I'm going to shoot one shot into a paper target, and then I'm going to do a mag dump, and you're going to see how, because of this item right here, it'll put all of the bullets into the same hole. So let's go out to the range. Okay, we're about to test out all the technical aspects I went over on the Firearm. But first I want to show you that this is the first and only, quite possibly the last, low budget shooting t-shirt. I basically made it myself. I went and grabbed one of these guys and just kind of put it on there and spray painted around it. So if you're interested, I'm going to put this thing on eBay after I wash it, of course, and I'll write low budget shooting in it. And hey, any way I can fund the channel, we'll see how it works. So I've got 3 water bottles up there. I'm going to shoot one at a time, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to shoot one shot in the paper target, and then I'm going to do a mag dump in there to show you how the thingy works. So let's go ahead and shoot the water bottles. Okay, I got about 10 rounds left, so we're going to put one in the paper target. Alright, it's a little low, and now we're just going to do a mag dump into it. There we go. Alright, I'm just going to grab the camera, go walk up there and see how it looks. Actually, we'll take this camera. We'll just do this live. Okay. So, as we walk up to the target, and there you go, there's the one shot that I took first, and then I did the mag dump, and look at every single one of them went in the same hole. So if you guys, laugh at the thingy, that gun would not do well without the thingy. So, hopefully, oh man, what happened? Anyways, I'm still recording, I think. It might be upside down. Appreciate you guys watching. Hey, we've got 159 subscribers now, and I gotta tell you, I'm grateful. I can't do this without you guys. I'm going to post the names of those subscribers at the end of the video so that you can see who it is. And once again, I really appreciate all you guys watching. Stay tuned, I've got more stuff to come. Be safe when you're shooting. Thanks, bye.